What's good, YouTubers and YouTubex? This is JBsports back again with another one. Ohio State defensive end Chase Young is the most dominant player in college football today. He is the best player in college football today, and as of today, he should be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. No doubt about it. Now, you got some good candidates out there. Now, you still got Tua out there, but he's hurt right now, trying to deal with another problem with his ankle that plagued him last year. He's out of play right now. You have Sparrow from LSU. He's a credible opponent. A credible candidate. You have who else you got out there? You got the running back Taylor from Wisconsin. They just took two back-to-back losses to Illinois, which pretty much took him out the picture. And then today he was held in check, as Chase Daniel and the defense did a good job of containing him and making the quarterback for Wisconsin have to make plays and basically have a big game in the passing game to defeat them. And he wasn't up to the task. As Chase Daniel, as Chase Young and the defensive ends and the defensive linemen and the linebackers and the cornerbacks all played a complete game to hold Wisconsin to 7 points in a Big Ten battle earlier today in Horseshoe, man. A great performance by Chase Young. Had 4 sacks, had 2 forced turnovers, had 5 tackles for losses. A dominant performance, man. When you start talking about dominant college players on defense, man, he's right up there with the greats of the great, in my opinion. At the level that he's playing on right now, he's up there with the greats of the greats. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a college football historian. And right now, he's dominant on the level of a Hugh Green, guy out of Pittsburgh. They finished second to George Rogers, George Rogers, who played for South Carolina. He finished second to him, Hugh Green. He had a dominant year that year when he finished second in the Heisman Trophy to George Rogers. And they actually met up in a bowl game. And that was two of the most dominant players that year, Rogers and Hugh Green. And I think Chase Young is playing at that level, probably playing at a higher level than that. And Hugh Green, you go back and watch the video, watch the clips of his performance that year, man. He was dominant, Hugh Green. But I think Chase Young so far is having the most dominant season I had in college football since Hugh Green. I put him right up there with Hugh Green and Donica Sue in Nebraska. That year he had when they almost beat Texas in the Big 12 championship game and ended up going to the Lesser Bowl. But he had a dominant year that year for Nebraska. You know, Nebraska have kind of fallen off and from past glory, but during the stretch that he was there, he brought them close to what they were. Not quite the national championship Cornhusker winning team, but he brought them up there where they were a force to be reckoned with, man. And Sue single-handedly brought that program close to what they was previously, man. Not quite, but he was that dominant that year. And I believe Chase Young is up there with those two guys there as far as the most dominant defensive players I've seen in college football history, man. This guy is unbelievable, man. Very fast off the ball. This guy's got the complete package as a rusher, a pure rusher that can play the run. He's got the bull rush. He's got the spin move. He can beat you just off the pure speed around the edge. The guy is just a beautiful, great player, man. And he's playing at a high level. And right now, he's definitely, in my opinion, the number one front runner for the Heisman Trophy. Will he get it? Probably not, based on past history, man. It's gone to quarterbacks pretty much for the last, 10 to 15 years, man. It's been pretty much a quarterback award. And right now, you got two guys probably leading the pack in Sparrow and Tagovailoa. They're probably the top two candidates right now. And those two guys will be playing in a couple of weeks. And that matchup could easily be number 1 versus number 2. And that could be the game of the regular season, of 2019-2020 season. So that's going to be an epic matchup. And whoever wins that game, I would surmise will be the number 1 front runner for the Heisman Trophy. But make no mistake about it, Chase Young deserves to be right there with those guys. And in my opinion, I think he should be number one. Now, they've got a couple of big-time matchups they self to finish the season out, that being Ohio State. They've got Penn State coming up in about 2 weeks, I think. No, in 3 weeks. They got a Penn State coming up, and then they got the game in the Big House against their arch nemesis, Michigan. And if he can put a performance like he did today against the Wisconsin Badgers in those 2 games, to me he'll be the runaway pick for the Heisman Trophy. So we'll see what happens, man. Just want to give this guy a shout out, man. Give him his just due, man. And hopefully the voters are watching and not just assuming that that this is just going to be a award for quarterbacks or skill position players. Finally give defense players their love. Don't say, well, they got their awards, they got their trophy. For them, they got the trophy they got the trophy ceremony down in Houston every year. I think it's the I forgot what trophy they called it, man. Some kind of brick trophy, man. They're like some kind of marble brick trophy they have down in Houston every year, and they give that to the best defensive player in college football. And Chase Young will definitely win that. He'll definitely get that. As long as he stay healthy, he should definitely get that. But I want him to get the #1 trophy in college football, and that's the Heisman Trophy. And if he continues to play at this level, and right now he should. Right now, if the Heisman Trophy award was awarded today, he definitely should get it, Chase Young. But if he continues to play at this level and shows up big in the 2 biggest games left in the season for Ohio State, Penn State at home in 3 weeks, and then in the big house against your arch nemesis, Michigan Wolverines, yeah, I think it's a done deal, man. He should get it, man. He definitely should get it, man. But the guy was unbelievable today. He's up there with the greats. A lot of people were saying, man, he reminds them of Jadeveon Clowney, but he's way more consistent than Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney in South Carolina was a good college player. Don't get me wrong. He had those big splash plays, but play in and play out, he's not playing to the level of a Chase Young. Like I said, the 2 guys that I mentioned that you can maybe compare to what Chase Young is doing right now is Donica Sue at Nebraska and Hugh Green at Pittsburgh. Those 2 guys, you can make a comparison to what Chase Young is doing so far. But he's been way more dominant than Jadeveon was at South Carolina. Jadeveon Clowney had that big play against Michigan in that New Year's Day Bowl that they kept playing over and over and over on ESPN, and that probably was the play of the year in college football, as he had a big hit that pretty much separated that running back from Michigan head from his shoulder. So he got a lot of love for that. And that was just, and he should got a lot of love for that. But down in and down out, man, there's nobody dominating college football like Chase Young is doing right now. And like I said, I mentioned the all-time greats that he's standing on the Mount Rushmore with right now, and that's Hugh Green and Donica Sue, man, with the years that they put in for Nebraska and Pittsburgh, respectively. So we'll see what happens, man. That's just what I'm seeing right now. For this college football season has been very, very good this year, man. We've got about 8 or 9 undefeated teams here. You got the 1 team from the non-Power 5 and SMU playing at a high level. If they keep winning, they'll be able to play in a New Year's Day Bowl against a team from a power conference, and they'll be able to show that they can play with the big boys if they continue to win. And we'll see what happens with them the rest of the season. But it's been a very, very exciting and very interesting season, man. As a lot of experts went into this season, thought we were going to see Clemson versus Alabama Part 3. It's not so automatic right now that those 2 teams going to end up in the finals. As you got a lot of good teams out there right now. And to me, the best team in college football right now is Ohio State. And I think LSU is number 2. Them be the 2 best teams I've seen so far this year, rounded out by Alabama and Clemson. So we'll see what happens, man. But it's going to be very interesting when the playoff poll come out. I think it'll come out the Saturday after Halloween. I think the first playoff poll will come out, and we'll see what the 4 teams they have. We'll be able to debate that and see if we agree. But there's no way in the world that Ohio State's not going to be in that top 4, and LSU either. If they continue to hold on and beat Auburn right now, I'm actually just left that game just to do this video. I'm going to go back and finish watching the end of that game. But if they continue to win, they definitely should be in the top 4. And then you got Clemson undefeated and Alabama undefeated. And those will be your top 4. In what order? That's going to be the $61 million question. How the top 4 going to go? You know those are going to be the top 4 teams, but in what order? But if it was my pick, and in my opinion, I would have Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Alabama 3, and Clemson 4. That's how I have them ranked. But we'll see how they have them ranked when they come out with the first playoff poll, top 4, and we'll see how it matches up, how it matches up with what they have and what I think it should be. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I'll holler.